A body's now been found at a river in Tongaat, north of Durban. This means the number of people who've died due to the torrential rains and flooding in KwaZulu Natal now stands at 14. Ntando Mnyandu is at the scene, joins us now. Ntando, good afternoon to you. What have people found?
Well, good afternoon to you, Stephen, and good afternoon to our viewers. Well, we are coming to you live from Walter Reed Road, which is in Tongaat on the northern part of Durban. You know that, a body has just been retrieved here by search and recovery personnel, as my colleague Ngubande gives you a shot of the river that we are standing along. So it is in this river where a body of a young man was retrieved not so long ago by search and rescue personnel, as they had been combing the area following Saturday's floods that swept away some of informal settlements and some houses. On the other side of this river there is a township called Hambanati. So in that township there are a lot of rental houses. So what we understand about the deceased is that he was working at a Durban trade port as an intern. So earlier on when we arrived here, we saw some of his colleagues and some of his friends who were here, as they had joined the bandwagon of search and rescue. But with days progressing from Saturday, when the rains and floods occurred here in most parts of Durban, the search had migrated from search and rescue to search and recover. As you know that yesterday when we reported, we had numbers that were confirmed and collated by COCTA in KwaZulu Natal that at least 11 bodies had been found, with 2 people missing. Well, later on yesterday, a body of a lady was found. Now, it is believed that this lady and the young man who was found not so long ago, they were in a relationship, and actually what happened on Saturday is that during their sleep, their house was washed away, and it went down along this Walter Reed River. A lady was recovered yesterday, and this young man was recovered earlier on a short while ago, which then pushes the number of fatalities due to torrential rains, and floods that are continuing, to ravage the province of KwaZulu Natal to 13, with at least 1 person reported missing. So search and recovery teams are on high alert. They are combing most of your rivers and river streams around the province of KwaZulu Natal, in search of whatever they might recover. As you know that, more than 48 hours has lapsed since the incident occurred, or the flood thwarted the province of KwaZulu Natal. So we've witnessed a lot of damage in infrastructure. Your water and sanitation network that goes underneath the ground has been completely, toppled over, as I allow my colleague Ngubande to give you an idea of what we are talking about. So you would see that there is rubble and dirt all over the pipes that are supposed to have been, hiding water and sanitation, plumbing system in most parts of the province. Electricity as well has also been affected severely due to these floods. So what we understand right now is that officials from COCTA department in the province are combing most parts of the province of KwaZulu Natal. We understand that they have just left Bergville going towards Ladysmith, which becomes, an epicenter for disasters in the province of KwaZulu Natal. As you know that the city is always, whenever it rains, it experiences high levels of flooding. So right now, teams are on the ground. The disaster management command center is on a high alert, as the weather, patterns and the weather forecast continues, to pose a threat in residents here in this part of the country.
It's incredible, the damage there, and people are also worried that there'll be more rain over the next few days in KwaZulu Natal.
Well, you're correct, Stephen. You know, with schools reopening tomorrow, you know, there are fears as some parts of the province, are not easily accessible. You would know that the province has a lot of low-lying bridges where kids and pupils would cross and use as a link and a lifeline to other parts of their places of residence as they go to school. In Ndwedwe, we've seen, locals taking it upon themselves to try and rehabilitate the infrastructure as most bridges were washed away. So there are fears that with schools reopening tomorrow and the state of the infrastructure, mainly roads and bridges, being washed away and being compromised. So we might see, a situation where maybe some learners would find it hard, to access their schools. As some schools, in as far as Escort, we understand that some schools, during flooding and torrential rains and hailstorms were damaged in as much as some preliminary measures, were put in place in terms of mobile classes and the likes. But the situation remains, quite a threat, to locals and people of KwaZulu Natal. But we've been assured by government that, well, they are on the ground trying to bring the situation to normalcy. But as things stand and with weather patterns, proving to be a bit brutal towards the residents of this part of the country, we are only hoping that most kids will be able to go back to school tomorrow and they'll be able to access, their places of, where they access education, like schools and kindergartens and crashes. So we are hoping to see an improvement. But as I'm talking to you, it's drizzling and it looks as if the rain is on the way, Stephen.
Ntando Mnyandu, thanks very much indeed. Do appreciate it. All right, drizzle falling there now. Let's hope that it have more intense rain. Updates, of course, on that story. More conversations about it in the Pulse to come in an hour and a half or so from now.